Social media is two words that have changed the basis of life itself within the last decade. It not only is a platform used to stay connected with others, but it is a way for many to get their news, see family or friends' updates, and can be a way some receive their income. With all the positive social media adds to our lives, there's a consequential flip side that is the reason why mental health can go sour. Many negative factors can cause social media use to be bad for mental health and even lead to depression. Some of those factors are comparison, not getting anything done, and simply the time one spends on social media that can correlate to their depression as well. Depression itself has been a taboo subject until recently, when the trend of mental health awareness has been flooding mainstream media. But some who haven't been affected will still ask what depression is. According to the Mayo Clinic, depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest that affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. This is especially pertinent in young adults age ranging from 18 to 25-year-olds who use social media more than any previous generation. To help us get a better understanding of how social media affects young adults daily, I asked two students of University of Hawaii at Manoa to express their own relationship with social media and depression.
My name is Sarah. I'm 24 years old. I'm a UH Manoa student and I studied kinesiology, and this is my senior year.
I'm Hannah. I'm 21 years old. I go to UH and I study animation.
Depression for me, it's kind of just like it deteriorates my self-confidence, and that's where it attacks first, is like me as the individual. I feel like with already having like anxiety, it already just kind of like heightens it that much more, because I just feel like I'm just a constant beehive that just like never turns off.
Depression, it sucks the life out of you, and going through it so many times, every time it takes another toll at yourself, and I definitely feel so many repercussions of that in the way that like I perceive myself, the world around me, my family, my relationships, just everything has kind of taken a toll because of it.
To understand the link of social media use and depression, one has to understand the importance of a person's time. Someone's time is arguably the biggest commodity a company can sell, which is exactly what social media sites are doing. They sell your attention. A study that researcher Liao Lin found was that the younger ages within her study were using social media the most.
I use social media a lot. Too much than I probably should. My screen time for today is 3 hours and 42 minutes. The day before that, Sunday, was 8 hours and 58 minutes.
My daily average is 2 hours and 46 minutes. It goes Instagram, Snapchat, and Google Chrome, and that's like pretty consistent.
So my most used is Snapchat, sitting at an average of 3 hours and 43 minutes. Then the next one is TikTok, 3 hours and 21 minutes. And then Instagram, 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Having the younger generation of adults being fully immersed in the online web of opinions and speculations is not ideal for their impressionable minds. According to the National Library of Medicine, the development of the prefrontal cortex is very important for complex behavioral performance, as this region of the brain helps accomplish executive brain functions. This is important to note since the development and maturation of the prefrontal cortex occurs primarily during the adolescence and is fully accomplished at the age of 25 years, which is when the young adult is now considered a full adult. Young adults spend all this time on social media without having the full functions of their brains to make decisions.
I think that social media then became a thing of, this is how I socialize with other people. And I think that's why TikTok became so big during pandemic also, is because it was a way for all of us to connect with one another. But then it just kind of created like these like parasocial relationships and like almost like unhealthy relationships with real people, because they don't exactly correlate the same, which I think then became hard to build those relationships when you see each other in person afterwards. So.
Sherry Turkle's main argument in the well-read book, Alone Together, greatly identifies this generational gap between human connection and adequate social media use. Her main argument in the book is that young people that are in interpersonal social situations tend to be on their phones more than engaging in conversation, paying attention to one another, and simply maintaining a better relationship with each other. The social block she sees is a phone and social media that is used to divide one another from any type of meaningful relationship to exclusively shallow relationships found online. Shallow social media relationships contribute to depression by not allowing one to be in touch with their emotions and express themselves in ways that are healthy and necessary in order to maintain a positive mental health. Now tie this in with the pandemic, since lockdowns were a global event that forced countries to put everything on hold. Many people weren't even alone together, they were just plain alone. This is causing even more of an influx in shallow social media relationships, since it was forbidden to engage in interpersonal communication with people that weren't in your immediate household.
It's so much craziness has happened, and social media has been kind of like I don't want to say like an outlet of information or whatever it may be, but it's definitely easy to get caught up in all the crazy things that is going on, and especially right now, and I think we're just feeling more heightened, especially I know I am. It's definitely like made things worse, and I'm definitely more like conscious though of it.
The lockdown affected people all over the country, but it especially affected the young adults that use social media as their main source of news. A study led by researchers Jia and Zhou pointed out that it is necessary to examine the association in young adults, considering that they are more frequent users of social media. They are prone to use social media sources to access disaster-related messages. This means that the constant bad news creates an environment that is toxic to constantly worry about, which results in negatively impacting the young adult's mental health. A survey on my Instagram found that out of around 400 people, 89% of them have experienced depression. When asked if social media caused negative impacts to their mental health, 78% said yes. 60% of participants replied yes to limiting their social media usage due to the negative impacts on their mental health. 58% said yes to the pandemic making their depression worse. When asked if using social media during the pandemic has made their mental health worse, it was split between a 50-50 vote. Lastly, to tie in a study Sasha Rudenstein conducted, she asked Chinese students to log how many hours they use on social media. Her results found a strong correlation between social media and their depression, and her studies even found higher depression rates during COVID than before the pandemic. This isolation, horrendous news, and public anxiety due to the pandemic made people closer with the help of social media. But it also made people's relationships more superficial and interactions less meaningful. It is clear that the effects of social media during the COVID-19 pandemic has caused depression rates to go up and make this younger generation more depressed than any generation before.